Hey, what's up guys? Budget Yu-Gi-Oh here, and today I have a budget deck profile for you guys. This is Herald of Perfection. So, it is budget, but if you play this at locals or something, people might hate you because this card has been a menace for the past decade, and fortunately, this deck is not meta. Yeah, it's it's pretty unfun to play against because Herald just basically stops everything. But if you don't know what this deck does, I'll go through the cards and kind of explain how this deck works and why it's so frustrating to play against. And I mean, it's pretty fun to play if you're the one piloting the deck because this version of Herald is kind of like a combo deck that puts out basically consistently puts out 3 to 5 negates and can summon out Herald like 90% of the time. And also you can get Archlord Christie on the boards to prevent special summoning, which is basically it's pretty unbreakable unless you get hit by Sphere Mode. But I'm going to jump into the deck profile here. Got triple Herald of Perfection. I mean, if you read the card, not once per turn, not once per chain, can negate any spell trap activation or monster effect activation. The only thing this can't stop is spell and trap effects. So if True Draco pops their Apocalypse and can destroy this, that's one of the few ways that people can get around it. But other than that, most decks don't have a way to deal with it too well. And then we play 3 Cyber Angel Benton. This is literally just tribute fodder for the ritual spell when you summon Herald, because when this is tributed, you get to search for any light fairy, and basically your entire deck is light fairy. So this makes it so you can search for your combo pieces, you can search for Archlord Christia. It's pretty good. You always want to summon Herald using Cyber Angel Benton. And the ritual spell will allow you to add this back to hand so you can keep looping it. You actually do want to use it multiple times per turn sometimes. And there's some other synergies in the deck. But then we play 3 Gale Dogra. This is kind of like, you read it and you're like, what the hell? Because you pay 3,000 life points. And then you send an extra deck monster to the graveyard. What you're going to do is you can send Herald of the Arclight. Herald of Arclight is not once per turn, so you send 2 of them. You can search for a ritual spell or trap twice. So Gale Dogra is a +1. You're basically giving up your normal summon and the life points to make sure you get Herald on board. And Gale Dogra, if you have this in hand, you're probably going to summon multiple Heralds, like at least 2 on the first turn, which means you can search twice. And you can set up your graveyard. And then we play 3 Manju with the 10,000 hands. He's pretty essential for ritual decks. In this one, he's not that great, even though he's a light fairy. If you have to normal summon Manju, he can get hit by so many things, like Valor, Impermanence, and Ash. And if you summon him, it's much harder to go into Christia because you don't have the Gale Dogra sending fairies to the graveyard. And then we play 3 Star Seraph Scepter, which is also a really good normal summon, along with the 3 Star Seraph Sovereignty. So if you have both of these in your hand, it's a combo because you can summon the Scepter, Chainlink 1, activate effect search for a Star Seraph, and then you Chainlink 2 in your hand, the Sovereignty is a special summon. This special summons, you draw 1, Scepter, you search for another Sovereignty, and then because you summon the Star Seraph, you can special summon the Sovereignty that you just added. And that only works if you have these 2 in hand, but really strong combo because you get 3 level 4s on board and you can make some really strong rank 4 exceeds. And then there's a bunch of 1-ups I play. 1 Honest. This is not the best card in here, but against certain decks you kind of need that just to beat over things. 1 Eva. Eva is really strong because when you discard this off Herald, you can banish 2 fairies from your graveyard and then add 2 level 2 or lower fairies from your deck to your hand. which are the Cyber Egg Angel and the Cyber Petite Angel. So you can turn your 1 negate into 3 negates, which is really strong. And then these two, if you really need to, you can summon them and search for another combo piece. But they're really weak. So you're going to have to summon them off Ritual Sanctuary or hope you don't get OTK'd or something. And then the 1 Christia. Christia, no special summoning. Well, Christia is on the forward. Really annoying to deal with. And then you can special summon her, or him, I don't know the gender. But you can special summon if you have 4 fairies in graveyard, which is really easy to do in this deck. And then you can add one of them back to your hand, so you get another pop or negate with the Herald. So that's it for the monsters under the spells. 3 down the Herald, the ritual spell, the summon Herald. You can, when you ritual summon using this, you can banish this card and add back the ritual material, one of the ritual materials that you use. So this allows you to just keep reusing the Cyber Angel Benten and add it back to hand. 3 Preparation of Rites. So 3+1, and it's probably the best spell in the game for ritual decks that can use it. And along with that, 3 Preparation of Rites. This just to search the monsters. You want to see these in your open hand because, like, if your opponent has Ash, they're going to Ash this, and if that's the case, you can play through it. Pre-prep basically gets you 2 of your combo pieces, so you really only need to get the Cyber Angel Benten to your hand, which should be pretty easy once you have all these other cards to search. Like, all this deck does is search and summon Herald. That's literally the whole purpose of it. 3 Extra Foolish Burial. It is once per turn, but you do want to see one of these just because it's an extra extender to get your Herald or Benten or Ritual spell. So this, you just send an extra deck monster to the graveyard by paying half your life, and you also can't set spell or traps. So again, you send the Herald of the Arclight, and then you search. So this is pretty good. Keep in mind, we also play Entis, because going second, you can pop a card using it. So that's also the extra versatility, and it helps going second because Herald actually, the weakness of this deck is that it's not the best going second. And we play 3 Ritual Sanctuary. It's the field spell along with the terraforming to search it. So this, you discard a card, you discard a spell card, and then you can add a light ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to hand. And also you can shuffle back spells from your graveyard to special summon a light fairy from your graveyard. So if you have 4 spells engraved, you can summon back the Scepter. Or if you have 2 spells engraved, you can summon back one of the Cyber Angel monsters, and you get the search off that. And this once per turn, each of those effects is once per turn, so if this stays on the field, you can keep doing that, and we play a lot of spells. So it can come in handy. 3 Celestial Observatory. So this, you shuffle you put a level 6 monster on the bottom of your deck, and then you draw 2 cards. So this allows you to just cycle through and dig deeper into other combo pieces, adds a spell to the graveyard, helps you see side deck cards, and since the Cyber Angel goes back to your hand after you ritual summon, this is always going to be live after you summon Herald. So we play 3 just because you want to see one of them. With all these once per turn cards, sometimes you do brick, and sometimes you do clog. Like you Desires. There's the next card, Pod Desires. And then you see a Pod Desires or you Celestial Observatory into another one, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. You're trading the you're trading that for some consistency, so kind of have to do that if you just want to see better opening hands. So 3 Pod Desires. There's some cards we don't want to banish, but it's a +1, and if you do your full combo and then you desires and draw 2 fairies, it's just so hard for your opponent to deal with. And then the last spell that we draw with is the Upstart Goblin. This is, I believe, is a 46 card deck, but I still play the Upstart. And the reasoning behind that is it's an extra spell in graveyard, which can really help with your Ritual Sanctuary. And we don't care about your opponent gaining life points, so I mean, you can cut that if you want. I just think it doesn't hurt to play it. Gives you an extra side deck spot to easy side out. Anyways, let's go into the extra deck. Like I said, we're playing the 3 Herald of the Arclight, and then the 2 Elder Entity Entis. So these are just so you can send off of Gale Daggra or Extra Foolish. Get your searches, get your pops. I mean, you can probably cut 1 Entis, but you definitely need the 3 Herald of the Arclight. And then Link monsters, we play Phoenix, generic Link 2 that we can use as part of a combo to get 4 fairies engraved. 1 hit push Shinigami. Also helps get 4 fairies engraved because he's a fairy, so if you do the Scepter and Sovereignty combo, that might come up. And also he boosts light fairies by 500, so if you have like 3 light monsters on board plus him, like that's so much extra damage. Decode Talker. The only Link 3, and it's pretty good because it stops targeting, so if you play against True Draco, you have to summon Decode Talker to stop their traps from targeting your Herald. And 1 Borreload, 1 Borreload Sword. Just Link 4s. This is because Thunder Dragons are a tough matchup. And then Borreload Sword, just go for game if you can summon and Link Climb. And then rank 4s, I play Evil Swarm Ouroboros. Requires 3 level 4s, and it has the effect of you can detach once per turn to rip a card from your opponent's hand. You can bounce a card from your opponent's outfield to their hand, or you can banish 1 card in their graveyard. So pretty versatile. Usually you summon this in turn 1 just to rip a card out of your opponent's hand. Stellar Knight Deltaros also requires 3 level 4s. So both of these are when you do the Sovereignty and Scepter combo. So this, while it has XYZ material, your opponent can't respond to your normal or special summons. And the reason why that's important is because you make him, the Scepter gives you an effect where you exceed summon using 3 materials or more. You get to pop a card on the field and draw 1, and then when you summon this, if they don't negate the summon, they can't respond to it, so you get to pop a card for free and draw. And then he also has the effect to detach and then pop a card on the field. So basically you would summon him and pop 2. And the first one they can't respond to, so it's pretty good. And then in main phase 2, you can exceed summon into Constellar Diamond using Deltaros. And he basically just wrecks dark decks because you can detach and then negate a dark monster, and that's not even once per negate and destroy dark monster, and it's not even once per turn. So that is pretty devastating if you play against Orchestra or some other decks that use dark monsters. And then we play Abyss Dweller and number 62 Gars. Abyss Dweller is just really good against most decks. And it's kind of hard to go into this without playing Instant Fusion or some other cards, but I would just recommend using that and summoning it whenever you can. Dugaris, draw 2, discard 1. Can't really argue with that. It's pretty good. Or you can special summon from your graveyard, so if they destroy your Herald, you just summon him right back. And yeah, that's it for the extra deck. Side deck, I don't have it fully fleshed out yet, but cards that I'm thinking of are Gamma Seal, Mind Control, These are for Thunder Dragons because Colossus shuts you down. And then going second, also certain matchups are tough. Barrier Statue of the Heavens. No one's really special summoning light monsters, so against certain matchups, this is pretty good. Red Reboot. Back row decks. Solemn Strike is the one of the only few ways that destroy Herald easily. So Red Reboot's pretty good. And I will also side in like Cosmic Cyclones or Evenly Matched, Sphere Mode, or anything to help go second. So that's probably what the side deck's gonna look like. Yeah, that's it for the deck, guys. If you want to build this, and I hope that you guys don't abuse this because it's really annoying for other people. So if you're trying to do friendly matches, this probably isn't the best deck to play, but I mean, I built this deck for maybe $40. I've already got a lot of the extra deck cards, so I didn't have to spend money on it, but all of these are dirt cheap. The Heralds are like $1, Dugaris is like $1. Borsor Burload, you should probably just have it if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player. Decode's cheap, Hoshigen's cheap. Phoenix might be a little up there, but it's not that bad. And then in the main deck, really the most expensive card I think is Pod Desires for the Ultra. And then everything else was like, yeah, I don't think any of this was really very expensive. Manju's kind of expensive, but to be honest, you can probably cut him. Gale Dogger was like $1.50. Herald was like 70 cents, so this deck is actually pretty cheap, so if you want to test it out, I mean, you know, why not just wreck people with some Herald? And basically this puts out what Pendulum boards can put out, except easier and also more consistently, and you can't get them buried if you just summon Herald as your first summon. So, and this deck is this version is geared towards summoning a Herald as your first summon, first or second summon. So. Alright, I just realized you guys probably going to need a little combo tutorial if you want to try and play the deck, because I did learn from another guy on YouTube who's really enthusiastic about Herald, and he loved the deck so much that I decided to play it and test it out. So shout out to I forgot the name. If you search Herald of Perfection, you're gonna find this guy, and he's pretty hilarious. He has like nicknames for every card in this deck. But basically in your opening hand, you just need to get these three. And then they're all searchable. So pre-prep would get you these two, which means you will only need a way to get into Ben 10. Each of these can search Ben 10. Manju can search Ben 10. Gale Dogger can search Ben 10. And there's just so many ways to get the combo pieces you need. So if you open pre-prep, you're set. Or you open Gale Dogger, both of these give you 2 combo pieces, so that's really good. And then all of these give you 1. And then you can also, you know, you might hard draw some of these. So let's say your starting hand is like Gale Dogger and then pre-prep. And then you've got 2 other cards. But so you pre-prep, you add Dawn, you add Herald, you summon Gale Dogger, and then what you're going to do is you're going to send Herald of the Arclight to the graveyard, put 2 copies of Herald of the Arclight to the graveyard, which means you get to search twice. And right here you're going to add Cyber Angel Ben 10, and you add another Dawn the Herald. So if you summon Gale Dogger, you want to summon Herald of Perfection twice. And so the first Dawn of the Herald you're going to use, summon out the Herald, banish, using Ben 10 as tribute, and then you banish Dawn, Ben 10 Chainlink 1 to search, Dawn Chainlink 2 add back to hand, and then you search for a second Herald of Perfection, and then you do Dawn of the Herald to summon the Herald of Perfection. And this time you don't use Dawn, but then you use Ben 10's effect. So this puts 3 fairies in the graveyard. Remember, the goal is to get 4 fairies in the graveyard. And then, because you just used Ben 10 as tribute, you can search for Archlord Christia. And so, to get the last fairy in the graveyard, you're going to link summon these two into any generic link too, but you want to go Nightmare Phoenix just because it has the highest attack. So, remember, you're at 2,000 life points because you used Gale Doggerah twice. So, you don't want to get OTK'd by something where they normal summon something strong or something. So 4 fairies engrave, which means now you can add back the Herald of Perfection. And so this was off of 2 cards. You still have 3 other cards in your hand. So that's at least no special summoning and probably like 3 negates. So that's typical turn 1 play with Gale Doggerah. Alright, so we have these two, Scepter and then Sovereignty. I just wanted to show you how that works. So you summon Scepter, Chainlink 1, Sovereignty, Chainlink 2, special summons a draw. And then Scepter will search for another Sovereignty. Since you did summon a Star Seraph, you can special summon the one you just added, draw another card. Now at this point, if you're able to summon Herald, let's say maybe the 2 cards you drew were the missing pieces, or you had cards to search for the missing pieces. Now you can don the Herald, special Herald, activate Dawn, activate Ben 10. So you add Ben 10 back to hand, you search for Christia, and then you do link 2 into Hippo Shinnigan, and then you link 3 into your Decode Talker, making sure that your Herald points to it. Now, because you have 4 fairies engraved, you can special summon Christia, add the Scepter back to hand. So that's another way to get into your Herald Christia board. Now, let's say you get a hand where you get your combo and then you've got like you've got either Scepter or Sovereignty in your hand. Let's say you have Scepter. So you can don the Herald, summon Herald, banish Dawn, search for Ben 10, add the Sovereignty in hand, and then now you can normal summon, special summon, draw, search for Sovereignty, special summon, and draw. And then here you can make your Ouroboros, because if you're going first, that will allow you to rip a card out of your opponent's hand. So in this case, you probably won't summon Christia, but you can still get them down to 5 cards and have maybe 3 to 4 negates with Herald. So that's also pretty strong. And if you had a extra spell card or Ritual Sanctuary, when you summon Ouroboros using Scepter, you can pop a card in the field and draw one. So that gives you an extra chance to get into a fairy. So that can come up. So that's it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more budget Yu-Gi-Oh! And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.